You know the drill, when the 5 lives go off, we'll be racing here 57 laps. And the 2006 Formula One World Championship begins now! What about Schumacher? Here he goes, look at Montoya up the middle. Alonso is attacking Massa. He makes him push to one side. Massa's weaved twice now, he can't do that again. Is Alonso going to have a run at him? Massa goes defensive, he was doing that for his team leader, undoubtedly. Button the victim there. He's been passed by Alonso and Montoya, I think. So Jenson Button has made a poor start here.
Williams was spinning back there, I think it was, in the distance, and Massa maintaining second place, but Alonso with a better run out of turn 4, and he is going to steal that position. That is crucial for Renault, and their team will be very happy to see that. That has immediately released Alonso after Michael Schumacher.
He must have been involved in something there as well. He's gone from 10th to 21st, Nick Heidfeld, in the new BMW team. As down the inside of... goes Jenson Button down the inside of his teammate Rubens Barrichello.
Rosberg pits, so has he got a damage? No, he's got no front wing. Rosberg's lost his front wing, so he'll need a new nose. But Barrichello clearly, and that was Button running very wide there.
But this battle of the Hondas continues. Jenson is now back behind Barrichello.
Yeah, Jenson ran wide in turn 4, and Rubens just swept through again. So Rosberg lost his wing and Heidfeld spun, which has put them back. Now Button's through again. Button through, Klein is through, past Fisichella. Klein is flying, he's past Webber, and now Fisichella.
But it's flying now, that car. Here comes Button, and this is how he got past Rubens Barrichello, his teammate, into turn 1, the favoured passing zone on this racetrack, and that was pretty clean and clinical.
Beautiful, he's so much later on the brake. Going to upset Coulthard. He's got Liuzzi behind him in the what looks very much like the old Red Bull car, and supposedly a detuned V10, and he's driven straight past him down the pit straight, and so Coulthard's struggling for pace. I suspect he's fueling up very heavily, and that's going to get tight by the time they get to turn 2. But the Toyota just got nerfed out of the way. Good stuff.
There was definitely contact there, wasn't there? Coulthard has another look back on the inside. So the tyres are much softer, and that's why, although we've lost 200 horsepower off the engines... Whoa! As Massa loses it, and very, very, very nearly collects... that would be Alonso, yes. So...
and some big flat spots on his tyres, he'll have to pit, but that's just the sort of thing you're expecting from Massa. Unfortunately, he's very quick, but he is erratic, and he shouldn't be making fundamental errors like that. So nearly wiped Alonso out, but that car will be vibrating crazily now with those flat spots. When you start to spin at high speed, it just wears a patch very quickly. Now look, I think he just locked a rear brake, yes, and probably just as he was downshifting and braking very hard, the back end got light, probably a little bit in the dirty air of Alonso's car, and suddenly he's very much steering at the wrong part of the racetrack. Just jammed on the brakes, didn't he? He had to keep it out of the gravel trap. Ooh, Alonso, good piece of driving from him there.
How close to getting his front wing knocked off was Alonso then?
Looks like one of the air guns may have failed, but...
Oh yeah, using the air guns to get the wheel nuts on and off.
Yeah, is that the right rear still waiting to come off? Yes, it is indeed, I believe. Right, they've changed over using the left side wheel gun, we think, and pandemonium in the Ferrari pit. Is that, I think that's the old tyre coming off, indeed it is. So finally the fourth reminds you of Eddie Irvine in the Nürburgring of Ferrari, where they struggled to find a right rear, but it wasn't a case of finding it, it's a case of just not having an air gun. And here we go with the move from a long way back. This is just beautiful. Watch this, look. And Montoya again, smart enough. You've got to know who you can do that against. Smart enough to see him coming through. And Button is mighty down at that first corner. Yeah, this is one of the best overtakes I've seen, and that's the end of it. He's now having to defend himself up at the top of turn 4, and he just sticks it right around the outside. Montoya had a chance to come back at him. Jenson very brave and very committed there. Montoya professional too.
lap 12 of the Bahrain Grand Prix, the first round of the 2006 Formula 1 World Championship. That's Ralf Schumacher. He is right towards the back of the field. That was Scott Speed he just passed for 15th place. Just before we went away, you saw Felipe Massa have a spin and then a problem in the pits with changing a tyre. He lost over a minute as a result of that problem in the pits, and he has now gone from 3rd place down to 20th place. So started on the front row, but he's in big problems. There you can see this battle continuing between Toyota and Scott Speed.
If he can, and this is a BMW side by side with what is David Coulthard. That is Heidfeld passing Coulthard for 12th place.
That's not a bad effort. He was 20th at the end of the first lap, wasn't he? From 10th on the grid, Nick Heidfeld, he went right back, and he's managed to fight his way back up again. So Nick Heidfeld is having a really fighty afternoon here. But at the front, the battle between Michael Schumacher and Alonso, very intense. Here you can see it again. Heidfeld running up the inside of Coulthard and making it stick. This is very much the place to pass. You see Coulthard going side by side with Heidfeld, running a little bit wide on the exit there.
And yeah, he's going to push Coulthard right out onto the marbles. That is beautiful driving from both drivers. Look at that, superb. DC is not going to give that one away, is he? But Heidfeld calmly now down the outside. That's the end of lap 15, and he was 6 seconds clear. So what is it? That's about 4/10. So if Alonso can do another 4 laps, we'll know they really are very, very even on pace. And this is the time then for Alonso to start pumping them in. He's done his fastest lap of the race already on the previous tour. Michael getting out. It always works beautifully, doesn't it, when it's working for you? He's just popped it out in front of his old teammate Rubens Barrichello, and that's key to give himself a nice clear lap. That's worked very nicely for Ferrari.
On board with Villeneuve, this is Raikkonen having a run at us.
He'll get in there, surely. Surely Raikkonen's got exactly where he needs to be. And if he can just run Villeneuve out high, and we haven't seen the end result of this, but I'd be very surprised if he doesn't end up finally taking that place away from Villeneuve, and Villeneuve yielding in the end.
Yeah, but it's fucking shit.
Whatever. Apologies for that piece of colourful language from Fisichella, but whatever the problem was with the engine, he's not very happy with it. Jenson Button then dives into the pit lane from 2nd place. He was 8 seconds behind Alonso and 11 in front of Michael Schumacher. Ted Kravitz is in the Honda garage.
Yeah, he's not going to make up the time on Alonso, let's face it, but let's hope it doesn't have a disaster and drop him well behind. Changing wheels again, it's so good to see that, James, I can't believe it. And it's going very well so far. Jenson creeping forward slightly. Alistair Gibson lifts the lollipop and he's away. Good stop.
9.1, a little bit slower than the Ferrari team, but 9/10 of a second slower than the Ferrari team, and that all counts. Drivers have all got to make that time up. Being added, slick stop by Renault, 8.0. He goes out, and he pitted 4 laps after Michael Schumacher.
And he's out in front of the Super Aguri's now. Will he get in front of this traffic? Yes, he will. But he's behind Michael Schumacher, look. So he looks a bit closer, though, doesn't he, than he was? He's made up some ground.
As we take a look at Fisichella, what's going on here? Making a move on Scott Speed in the Toro Rosso. That's for 13th place. But as we have a look at some action here, the Super Aguri's first pit stop.
Both came in together.
Both came in together, and he ran over the pit crew. So a bad first day back at school, really, for those guys. And the car now parked in front. Some problems there. It looks like they're ready for Takuma Sato, the other car. Lap 22 of the Bahrain Grand Prix, first round of the 2006 Formula 1 World Championship, and that was a very slow-moving Giancarlo Fisichella. Looks like coming out of one of those corners there, he just didn't have any power. We knew he had engine problems. He had them yesterday in qualifying, and they thought they would try and change all the electrical parts. Here's a look at Fisichella coming out of that slow turn 10, and when he puts his foot on the gas to accelerate, nothing happens.
Miserable day for him.
Well, if you call your car nasty names, that's going to give up on you, isn't it? And the 2 McLarens have got good raw pace. They might just come into the reckoning as this race moves towards completion. But Alonso has got the gap down now to Michael Schumacher, just 1.3 seconds. He's much happier on this set of tyres, much happier. Schumacher struggling for ultimate pace now. Raikkonen going very well up there in what is now third place.